I was the last person in the college library that night, even though I did not plan to be. It was midterms week, the kind where the campus never really sleeps. The library stayed open 24 hours, and I had been there since late afternoon, drifting between floors, pretending I was productive while mostly just trying not to panic about deadlines. By the time I noticed how quiet it had become, it was almost 1:30 in the morning. At first, the silence felt comforting. No conversations, no footsteps. Just the low hum of the lights and the occasional sound of pages turning somewhere far away. I assumed there were still people scattered around, tucked into corners, headphones on, invisible. I was wrong. I packed my bag and headed toward the exit on the first floor. The automatic doors did not open. I waved my hand in front of the sensor. Nothing. That is when I noticed the sign taped to the glass. Overnight access temporarily closed. Use side exit. I remember feeling annoyed more than scared. I had been in that building dozens of times at night. I knew where the side exit was. I turned and walked back toward the stacks. As I passed the main desk, I realized the lights behind it were off. No staff, no security. The monitors that usually showed camera feeds were dark. That should have been the moment I left my bag and walked straight back upstairs to look for someone. Instead, I kept going. The side exit was on the lower level, past the archives. That floor was always colder, always quieter. The kind of place where you automatically lower your voice even when you are alone. Halfway down the stairs, my phone lost signal. I noticed it, but I did not stop. Campuses have dead zones. I told myself that was all it was. The lower level lights were dimmed for night mode. Long shadows stretched between the shelves. I could hear my own breathing, steady but louder than I liked. I walked past rows of books I had never seen anyone touch. Old journals, bound newspapers, forgotten research. The farther I went, the more it felt like I was moving into a part of the building that was not meant for people anymore. That is when I heard the chair move. It was subtle. A soft scrape against the floor. Behind me, I turned quickly, expecting to see another student. Someone studying late, irritated that I had startled them. There was no one there. I stood still, listening. Nothing else moved. No footsteps. No voices. Just the lights buzzing faintly overhead. I told myself it was the building settling. I kept walking. The side exit door was at the end of a narrow corridor. When I reached it, my relief was immediate and physical. I grabbed the handle and pulled. Locked. I tried again. Harder. Nothing. There was a small keypad next to the door, the kind that required a student ID after hours. I tapped my card. The screen stayed dark. Behind me, something coughed. Not a loud cough, not dramatic. Just the quiet, restrained sound of someone trying not to draw attention to themselves. I turned slowly. At the far end of the corridor, between the shelves, someone was standing still. Too still. I could not see their face clearly, just the outline of a person, partially hidden by shadow. I said hello. My voice sounded wrong in that space, like it did not belong there. They did not respond. I took a step back toward the door. My card slipped from my hand and hit the floor. The sound echoed louder than it should have. When I bent down to pick it up, I felt exposed in a way I cannot fully explain. When I stood up, the person was closer. Not rushing, not sneaking. Just closer than before. I asked if they were lost. If they knew another way out. They smiled. I know because I could see their teeth, pale against the darkness. They said, "You are the last one." I did not ask what they meant. I turned and ran. I did not follow the corridor back. I cut between shelves, taking turns without thinking, my bag hitting my side, my breath turning shallow and fast. The layout stopped making sense almost immediately. Rows blurred together. Signs pointed to sections I had already passed. Somewhere behind me, footsteps followed, not chasing, matching my pace. I burst up a stairwell and did not stop until I reached the second floor. The lights there were brighter. The space felt normal again, too normal. I slowed down, heart pounding, and looked around. Every chair was empty. Every desk was clear. The library was completely vacant. I ran to the main entrance. This time, the doors opened. Cold air hit my face and I did not stop moving until I reached my car. The next day, I asked a librarian about the side exit. She frowned and told me it had been sealed for months due to renovations. No access. I asked about overnight staff. She told me the library closes completely at midnight during midterms. I still study late sometimes. But I never stay until I am the last person in the building. Because I'm not convinced I actually was.